Thank you for following my channel, finding my channel. Kind of want to go over what I was planning on doing with this next series of videos. Unlike the other ones I've been doing, which I'm going to continue to do anyway, this will be of me actually writing and then talking about experience I've had since I've been back from Afghanistan. A lot of situations happened during when I was working with Harley Davidson. A lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones. All turned out for the best. I didn't realize until maybe a year into it that I was pretty much getting paid for therapy. And I had one of my largest support groups from that original crew team working at Adam Smith Harley Davidson. Bunch of good people, bunch of very supportive people. I just can't express. And if you're in the DFW writing community, when you hear my stories, a lot of the names you're gonna actually hear, and you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. And even though everybody's scattered across the U.S. now, but still same quality of people. This first story is going to be the day I almost killed somebody, a team member, on the sales floor due to miscommunication. Back then, I was really still in a hateful state of mind and would rather lunge at somebody physically than actually walk away or de-escalate the situation. Now, with the help of my support family, I've still, it'll still get me thinking, but at the same time, more than likely I will walk away from the situation. But like a lot of fellow Marines, we have that little idiot switch. Once it's clicked on, it's go time. But then again, it's to be a better person, a better father, a better husband, and just a better all friend. We have to try to work through situations and make the best of it. It's even though it's in our mindsets, it's easier to just smash somebody and walk away. It's not the way you should handle or conduct yourself in a civilian situation. Once again, this is AK. Thank you for your time. Stay safe. AK out. Just kind of want to explain why I set up this channel to let everybody know. It's more for my kids, so they can understand what their dad was going through, and then hopefully, somebody might see this and they can understand why their father or mother acted the way they did. Just a better overall understanding. It kind of even hitting a little bit even harder now that my two boys are thinking about going into the military, and I always had the feeling I was over in Iraq and Afghanistan, so my boys wouldn't have to. And then it's a big awakening to see that the boys want to follow in your footsteps. If anybody in the DFW knows where the old Adam Smith Texas Harley Davidson is, that's where I first walked into the Harley Davidson world. Believe it or not, back then it was hard to get hired on. It was like a month of interviews, and then a bunch of classes on H-D net, continuous learning about Harley Davidson. That's pretty cool. When I first joined up, I think I did all of them, and I didn't really have I wasn't told which ones to do, so I pretty much did all of them at the time, or pretty close. And then Neil, one of the owners, he actually had a pin from Harley Davidson University that he gave me, and he kind of told me that, I guess he looked into the profiles, see what we're doing, and I did them all, or pretty close to all of them, or at least all the motorcycle ones, and he gave it to me. To this day, that pin has a high bounty on it. So many people tried to steal that pin from me. Pretty much got that in my safe. But the group I got hired on with, a lot of y'all are going to remember the names, notice the names in the DFW writing community. You got Chris, love that man, Chris Stevens, McKenna, She was working in the office at that time. Dixon Man was finance, along with Annie, T2, and a bunch of sales guys, Tony, Hollywood, Duck. Well, there's so many people. Just remember one time in particular, we were closing up, and Hollywood, I think I heard that he's at Longhorn right now, told me, say, hey, go over there, talk to that one guy, let him know that he can, we need help pushing bikes in. Something happened, he had a DUI or some kind of crap, and he couldn't ride a bike, but he could definitely push one. So I was like, new guy, you gotta do what the boss says. So I walked over to him and said, hey, we need you to help pushing bikes. I don't care if you really do it, just letting you know, I was well told to tell you to do it. And I walked off, and as I was walking off, he was like, who the hell are you fucking new guy, yada, yada, yada. And like, for the longest time, I believed that we met in the center, but thinking about it over and over again, I realized he was following me the whole time. Back then at the old dealership, we had a little island in the center of the store. Had Dynas at one end and then touring bikes at the other. And then I remember I walked all the way to the Dynas, and back then we had like so many bikes on that floor, like literally they were touching. So we were told to jump on the bikes, pull up the kickstand, and walk it backwards. Apparently somebody dropped the bike one too many times. And as I was moving back one of the Dynas, I don't know if anybody knows, but like the older Dynas, the real Dynas, the kickstand falls in the back of the transmission case, so you really have to kick back to hook it. I remember the one gentleman walked up to me and he was like bobbing his head, like, yada yada yada, who are you, new guy, go fuck yourself. And I told him I didn't really want to hear what he was saying, you know, just cool, whatever. And he just said one thing or twisted his head. I think it was pretty much just twisted his head the wrong way, and then unbeknownst by me, I actually kicked back, got the kickstand down without even trying. I don't remember jumping off the bike, but I lunged for him, and thank God the bikes were touching almost, that literally the handlebars kept me from contacting them. And I always say it, friggin' Harley-Davidson saved my job. And as that was going, he realized I didn't say anything. I just lunged at him. And Fabio, I love that guy. He somehow like saw me, ran after me, and grabbed me like he was getting to me to stop the situation. So I looked at the handlebars, did a J hook, and I was gonna go and like break them. I was gonna shoot. I was gonna push through them. And Fabio somehow grabbed me by my shoulders and like threw me out the front door. Not necessarily threw me, but he escorted me out the front door, and he walked me over to the corner where the trash cans are, and there's a smoke tree we used to smoke at. Remember, I was like smoking like 100 miles an hour. And as I was leaving, there was a little corner office. Neil, I saw him kind of doing the V8 thing and touching his forehead like, oh my gosh, can't believe this went down. And saw Don Terry. He was in his office finishing up a deal, and saw the biggest eyes pop out of his head. After Don saw that go down, he kind of went back to work. Business as usual for Don. And outside by the smoking tree over by the trash can, I was smoking a ton of cigarettes. And I remember the guy running out to his bike like he was hauling ass, jumps on his bike. I'll never forget it. It was a Fireman's Edition Road King, and he chirped out like he was a booster. that was the fastest I ever seen a Harley take off and not wipe out. And then the back of my head, I thought, oh man, I'm done. Hostile work environment, it's over. So I went home, came back to work the next day. Chris Stevens pretty much let me know that he needed to talk to me sometime today before it gets too late. And I took that as a signal, a sign. So I gathered my stuff, put everything within arm's reach, and then as soon as he had a little free time, walked up to him and told him, hey, ready to have that talk? And we walked over to Dixon's office and we sat down and closed the door, and I was like, man, I'm done. I'm fired. And kind of started off as with kind of noticed that sales is not your thing, and then I kind of cut him off a little bit, and I told him, I was like, I'm sorry, I understand it was from last night. I really apologize for that. I can't believe I let him get me that bad. Thank you for your opportunity. Thank you for your time. And he kind of looked at me, and he was shaking his head yes, but at the same time out of his mouth was no. We want to offer you a different job. The whole time he was offering me the job, he was shaking like, yes, this is the reason, and we're going to pull you off the sales floor. So he told me that I want you to think about what I'm going to offer you, go to lunch, come back with your answer. So he offered me a position as a driver for the sales team. So ended up, it was something to help me think about where I was after coming back from Afghanistan and how I should not be acting like a savage, even though it was at that time out of my control, because it was a second nature reaction. Which I did get a lot of driving in. I was all over the U.S. Dropping off bikes for the dealership, picking them up, whatnot. And came back and told them I made a decision. Thank you for keeping me on and giving me this second opportunity. After that, I realized how big of a support group I have with the original crew at Texas Harley Davidson, the old shop. Fabio, Jason, Sarah, Chris, Hollywood, Tony, Duck, the Motor Clothes girls, everybody. And they kind of helped me, especially Motor Clothes girls. They kind of gave me a little waving at when I would do the 1,000-mile stare. Apparently I didn't realize I was doing that. Tony was a power lifter back in the day, still has the muscles. He would physically pick me up and launch me without trying towards customers to help me, greet people. All those baby steps kind of added up to something special. There's a solid group of my support group that I'll do anything in the world for without hesitation. And then I used to joke that Harley Davidson is therapy for me, and I'm getting paid at the same time for working. So that's one of the many stories. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of that first story. I got a few others. So if you're in the DFW riding community, you're definitely going to hear names that you're very familiar with. And yeah, so the cool thing about Texas Harley Davidson, they kind of eliminated the customer-employee relationship and turned it into a family community. There's so many people in DFW that I still talk to, and occasionally I run down from the hood to go riding with and try to meet up every time I'm in town. But yeah, it's definitely, I'm in a far better place now than I was back then, due to wind therapy. Anyways, I'll be working on my next one. Ride safe, be careful. AK out.